As the energy mix in the automotive industry is evolving, here is one company which has come up with an engine which is fuel agnostic. And here I'm talking about a particular engine which is perhaps the first of its kind in the industry, developed by Cummins. And we have with us Mr. Srikanth Padmanabhan, who is the president of Cummins's global engine business. And he will tell us about how was this engine developed and what kind of fuels can it support in the coming years. So, Srikanth, thanks for talking to ET Auto. Tell us, how long was this under development, and what range of fuels can this engine support?
Right. We've been thinking about this for a long period of time, and we have done development over the last 2 decades in terms of how do we develop an engine that can actually take multiple fuels. That doesn't mean that the same engine can take multiple fuels, but you design the same engine, and if you decide you want to use it for compressed natural gas or liquefied natural gas, you could do it. Or you could do it for hydrogen, or you could do it for biodiesel if you wanted to do, or for that matter, if you could use it for petrol, you could do the same. The idea is it'll have the same power and torque needs that today's diesel provides, with the availability of low carbon fuels that you could do. We've been starting to work on this for the last several years, and we are just about starting to introduce these things, both on natural gas as well as on hydrogen that we've done, and we are going to do the same thing with petrol as well. You could also use it for propane. You could use it for varying forms of biodiesel in terms of what you could do, renewable diesel. That will also allow it to be used there.
And what percentage of the engine has to be modified depending on the fuel that goes inside?
The way we think about this is that above the head gasket, things have to change. And below the head gasket, all the components that are there will pretty much be the same.
Pretty much what we see in terms of the color differentiation.
That's
here,
right. The red and the white that you
Right.
see over there, the red is below the head gasket,
Right.
which means the blocks, the cranks, the pistons, all that remain the same. Above the head gasket, what will change is the fuel delivery system will change, turbochargers will change, and from the tank to get the fuel into our fuel cylinder head, that'll have to change as well, because today you have a diesel tank. If you need to replace it with a hydrogen ceramic fiber tank that you would have, taking that high pressure hydrogen to a lower pressure hydrogen into the cylinder head, you would need to be able to have some valves and other things that you
Right.
need to do. That will change as well.
So, going by this color differentiation, it looks like, would it be fair to guess that maybe about 70% of the engine's cost would be components in terms of cost will be common across different fields?
Yeah, about 70 to 80% of the components would be common, but 25% would be different.
All right. And what is the rollout plan? This you said is BS6 and BS7 as ready as well, right?
So we're starting to do this around the globe, which means we've already started introducing this fuel agnostic platform of natural gas engines in China. We're going to introduce natural gas engines in North America in 2024. We're also going to introduce a petrol version of this, which we call octane, also in the same time frame between 24 and 25. And soon thereafter, we will be introducing the hydrogen-based engines as well.
And in India as well?
In India as well.
All right.
This engine that we are seeing over here, which is a 7-liter like engine, will be the place where we would do much of the work for hydrogen for the world from India, actually.
Okay, all right. And would it be supplied to any Indian OEM like Tata?
That's right. Tata is the one that where we have signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, where we are working on the hydrogen internal combustion engine. We're also working on fuel cells and battery electric, but this would be the first one that would come out of it.
So this same fuel agnostic engine will be part of that.
That's right. That's right.
And since you handle the engine the business, tell us what is the progression, the evolution of the in trucks and commercial vehicles powertrain that we expect in terms of the final target of net zero, or in your case, destination zero, as mentioned.
Right. Destination zero means that you have to get to zero emissions, right? The powertrain is going to change over time. There are going to be certain markets, like the bus market, markets where you can bring it back, like if you have a depot where there is garbage disposal stuff that you're taking back and you're bringing it back. Those things will start to electrify first because the range is low You can charge overnight and you could reuse it. That'll go into battery electric. Long haul trucking over time would probably go more into hydrogen than into battery electric. In hydrogen, there will be two kinds that will be there: fuel cell electric and hydrogen internal combustion engine. The thing about fuel cell electric is it's 5 times more expensive than diesel today, which means the total initial cost needs to come down.
And what is the difference between a hydrogen fuel cell, and hydrogen ice? What will they cost?
The hydrogen highs, depending on where it is today, that'll be about 20-25% more that it needs to be. But in comparison to fuel cell, it is far less, right? It'll be more closer to what the natural gas system is today around the world that we would have. But the thing about it is that you could start using the fuel, getting to know, build the infrastructure out, and as fuel cell costs go down, this will happen. Now, so hydrogen internal combustion engine, compressed natural gas, renewable natural gas are the things that will change. The other thing that needs to change is on the batteries, battery cell structures, charging infrastructures that need to change, and energy density needs to improve as well. And then the e-axle from today's axle that are mechanical, it needs to be more e-axle that needs to
Electrified.
happen as well. And the last thing that I would say that changes is the electronic stuff, which is how do you do connectivity. Connectivity is important in terms of how do you communicate, what do you do, where do you take it, how do you manage the logistics infrastructure as well.
And in all this, India will be a key hub globally in terms of engineering and maybe manufacturing as well.
There are a few things that it'll be a hub for. I think purely engineering is something that we have started. We will continue to see that. Manufacturing, as geopolitical tensions go about, the second source idea that India needs to be that second source is starting to become in common parlance around the world. And in addition, componentry and supply base that is really good will also be able to supply to the world as well. Those are the bits that we know for sure. Over time, I think exports of engines and others will also happen.
On that note, congratulations on this new development, and best wishes to you and your team.
Thank you very much.